Okay.
The Massacre in Montgomery. Another heavy hitter for us every year. What'd you think this time, Laura?
Oh, Massacre is one of my favorites too. Every year, there's the same ones that we just always enjoy. Massacre is great. First of all, I have to say something about the weight entertainment. We have Pedo the Clown, which he's always fun and great to be around in the weight line. But then we also had a dead Elvis, which I haven't seen before. This is the first time I've seen him. And he had a guitar and everything. It says Elvis Presley. Great. And then he would break into song and he'd play the guitar. And he was great, really entertaining while you waited in line. And then the haunt itself is always great. I mean, it's always, you can always count on the Massacre to be a great haunt. So it's one of those few haunts out there that if you are going to go to one haunt for the season, that's one of them. So even if you can't do them all, Massacre is one I could say, yeah, that's a good one to do if you're going to do one for the year or a couple for the year. But anyway, there's a room. It's an autopsy room. Of course, they got the body with like the body parts all over the place. But there's a doctor in there singing, a spoonful of sugar from Mary Poppins. I liked that. That was entertaining. It only takes like a couple things in a haunt that are really good that make me really enjoy it. So I really enjoyed that. The sets are always fantastic in Massacre. The sets they have the movie theater with the plane crashed into it. They've got a really great jungle scene. And I have to point out that was something new. Normally there's a dinosaur, like a T-Rex dinosaur, that like animatronic that comes out in the jungle scene. But this time they had like natives and they weren't speaking your language and they're talking to you, but you didn't know what they were saying. There were a couple of them. And then there was one standing there with a spear, and it reminded me of the beginning of Raiders of the Lost Ark when he's in the cavern when he gets the idol and like the natives from that part of the movie. So that's what it kind of reminded me of. But I thought that was really, really well done. That's something different.
Up until the point that the giant boulder started rolling down after us and we had to get out of it.
Right, exactly. So I like that. And there was this girl near the end of the maze, end of it, with this clap, like a clicker. She was click, 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 and coming around, click, 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 click. I thought that was cool. I really enjoyed that too. And then, of course, the scene where you're in the church. There was actually a nun that I don't remember seeing in the past. She was there, and then of course you got like the preacher, and you got the ones sitting in the pews, and then one's a real person, and it's just, I love the Massacre. It's always one of my top haunts every year, and I'm giving it 5 chainsaws again.
Return visit to the Massacre out in Montgomery. How was 2016?
When compared to 2015, 2015 was better. I felt that the actors weren't as good this year, and I'm probably going to give it 4, maybe 4.5. That's because of that. The sets are still excellent, though.
Okay, the Massacre is one of those haunts where if you've been there before, you pretty much can rely on the fact that you're going to get much the same experience again. So if you enjoy it, you know you're going to enjoy it. So in the world of multiple haunted houses and a lot of them being pricey, it's always a safe bet to go to the Massacre and spend your money there because you know you're going to get a good experience. And this year was no different. The Massacre is about 20 minutes long. It's got lots of different rooms, multiple sets. Even has a plane sticking out of a building. It's got a car crashed into a wall. It's got boiler room sets, theater sets, doctor's rooms, bedrooms, all sorts of stuff. And I have to mention that the Massacre is always a little bit tongue-in-cheek. Laura mentioned the guy singing Spoonful of Sugar. So they dose out their terror, their frightening aspects with a little bit of sarcasm, a little bit of amusement, etc., etc. And that's the way the Massacre is. It's always been a bit tongue-in-cheek. And it is from the moment you walk in with Pedo the Clown, okay? Pedo is a funny guy. He does scare some people. In fact, the people in front of us in line were terrified of Pedo, which made him come even closer to them, of course, because he likes to terrify them. But he's funny, and that's how the Massacre is. That's really, if you want your horror tinged with a little bit of humor or even a lot, the Massacre is the place to go. Some standout rooms. Laura mentioned the church scene. There was a nun in there who, when we walked in, she said, "You want to meet my pet?" And all of a sudden, this guy in a dog mask comes out, and he's talking to me. Laura walked by. She probably ran by, actually. And this guy was talking to me about the coffin and how one size fits all, and he'd be happy to help me out, or help me in other words. But I passed on that deal. There are many, many different rooms. The room with the natives that Laura was talking about. There's a whole 3D section in the middle, which they have revamped this year. There's even more 3D. There's even a slanted room that you walk through. There's an exorcism room which is really good. The windows, there's the thunder and lightning outside of the windows. The chandelier swings. There's a priest with red eyes, and there's a girl writhing around on the bed. She's the one being exorcised, and then there's another girl who jumps out of the wardrobe. Very clever, very well done. This is the kind of thing that I like. Some of the actors that stood out for me were the pig man in the butcher shop. I see him all the time, and I love him. He's great. He wears this pig mask. I just like him. He doesn't say anything. He just comes up to you and sniffs you sometimes, and he's pretty good, I have to say. I like him. The doctor that Laura mentioned as well, he was very good. And then my favorite this year was the girl, the clicker girl. She was in the last section of the haunt. She had sort of goggles on her head, okay, like airplane goggles, right? Old-fashioned airplane goggles, but they were on her head. And she had this clicker, and she kept going, and she would follow us around. She was up on top of different things. She was in multiple rooms. She followed us all the way out towards the end. Great. We love stuff like that. So that was really enjoyable. I have to say, though, this time around, the Massacre was pretty much the same as the last time around. And there's nothing intrinsically wrong with that, but it lessened the impact a little bit for me. So under normal circumstances, this time around, I'd probably give the Massacre maybe about a 4.5. However, I have to say the Wade Entertainment, which I love Wade Entertainment, but they had a Dead Elvis, which I'm not really generally a fan of necessarily, but this Dead Elvis was done at least with a touch of class. Yes, he was dead in the theme because it fits in with the theme of the haunt, but he was actually walking around singing, asking people for requests, and he would sing. And he was singing all sorts of different songs. We heard him in the line, and he was very good, I have to say. And he even came up to us, asked me what I wanted to hear, and asked him to play an Elvis song, Love Me, as a matter of fact. So I have to give an extra half a chainsaw for that, bring it back up to 5 for this year, because I don't know of any other haunt where I've been able to do a duet with Dead Elvis on Love Me. So right there, 5 chainsaws out of 5 for me for the Massacre. Okay.
I need to go and get the clip, the thing. I have it. It's right there.
Blooper reel.
Yes, I have one.
Okay, this is another outtake for the blooper reel. All right, one more time.
Matt.
It's going in and out.
One of the rooms I like, they have an autopsy room with a doctor, and he's singing, Mary Poppins, spoonful of sugar makes the medicine, the light's going to go out. Again.
Oh, my